Okay, y'all, so let's talk about macros.
Surprise, surprise, your girl is back on the grind.
Y'all have been asking me on my last video, y'all want to know pretty much how I came up with like my cutting calories, how I kind of customize my macros to fit my goals and to fit my, you know, cutting season, so to speak. Basically, I'm gonna show y'all or tell y'all just like a general breakdown of how I calculated my macros. If y'all want like a more in-depth video on this, let me know, but I'm just gonna be letting y'all know what my macros are, what my calories are for right now. When it comes to cutting and losing weight, you want to make sure you're in a caloric deficit, meaning you're eating less calories than you burn. That's how you're going to be in a caloric deficit. That's how you're going to lose weight. Plain and simple. Boom. When it comes to macros, your macros consist of your carbs, your fats, and your proteins. Those are the big macronutrients that, you know, everyone pretty much talks about when it comes to making sure you're getting in your calories and your nutrients. So currently my cutting calories are 1900 calories. That may seem like a lot of calories, but when I break it down and we factor in, you know, me exercising, things like that, it's honestly not a lot, y'all. Okay, now in order to determine the amount of calories that you need to eat to be in a caloric deficit, you need to figure out how many calories, you know, your body requires just for you to pretty much maintain your weight, just for you to just exist. And typically, to determine those base calories, most people use a TDEE calculator. That's what I use. I'll go ahead and put the website that I use somewhere across the screen, but that's what I use to determine the calories. It's pretty like a little bit more detailed than most calculators. You can put in your body fat percentage if you know that. It bases your calories off of your weight, your age, your height, things like that. That number for me was like 2100 something calories, okay? So typically when you're cutting and you want to do it in, you know, a kind of less aggressive type of way to where you're making sure you're not losing too much weight too fast and losing your curves, most people recommend that you cut your calories 200 to 300 calories. So the TDEE calculator let me know that my calories were 2100 and something. So with that number, I'm gonna subtract 300 calories. That's gonna put me at 1800 calories, which are my cutting calories. If you want to gain weight, then you'd add 300 to that number that you get in the TDEE calculator. So if I was wanting to gain weight, then I'll add 300 calories to 2100, and that'll give me 2400 calories that I need to be eating in order to gain weight. Got it? Hopefully that makes sense. But being that I'm cutting, 1800 calories are my cutting calories, so I'm just gonna leave that up here because we're gonna come back to it, because I need to know how I need to break up those calories to make sure I'm getting enough protein, enough fat, and enough carbs. I guess we'll start off with protein. Typically, it's recommended that you eat 0.5 to 1 gram of protein per your body weight. With me starting out, being that, you know, I'm just coming off of a bulking season, my weight was 185. So 185 is my current weight when I started off, you know, trying to get my macros. For me, I want to make sure I'm getting enough protein to where I'm not losing my curves, right? So what I did was 185 times 1, which is 185. So that means for my protein, I need to be trying to hit 185 grams of protein. A protein is about 4 calories per gram, right? So that means I have 185 grams of proteins, but in terms of calories, I need to figure out how many calories that is. So I'm gonna do 185 times 4, and that's gonna give me 740 calories. So that means that 185 grams of protein equals 740 calories. So we got our protein out the way, okay? So now we're moving on to fats. It's recommended that you eat anywhere between 0.35 and 0.45 4 or 5 grams of fat per day. Okay, me, just to like start out, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna choose to do 0.4 grams of fat and see, you know, how I like that. So what I did was 185 times 0.4, and that gave me 74 grams of fat. 1 gram of fat is 9 calories, about 9 calories. So that means now I have to do 74 grams times 9 equals 666 calories, which I kind of wanted to tweak that a little bit because 666, love the Lord, but that's what it equals, 666 calories. Okay, so my 74 grams of fat equals 666 calories. So that means of my 1800 cutting calories, 666 of those, around there, needs to be dedicated to fat. So when it comes to the carbs, I basically need to figure out the difference of my protein and my fats for my cutting calories in order to see how many calories need to be dedicated towards my carbs. So what I did was 740 plus 666, and that gave me 1406 calories. I then subtracted 1800, which were my cutting calories, minus 1406, which is the amount of calories for my proteins and my fats together, and that gave me 394 calories. That lets me know that of my cutting calories, 394 needs to be dedicated towards carbs. Okay, now when it comes to carbs, 1 gram of carb equals 4 calories, which is the same as the protein. So I know, you know, I need to dedicate 394 calories to carbs. So to get the grams, I have to subtract that by 4. And that gave me 98.5 grams of carbs. So that means that my macronutrients that I'm basically aiming to hit right now is 185 grams of protein, 98.5 grams of carbs, and 74 grams of fat. Those are my macronutrients. It's kind of like basically a numbers game, because you know, you kind of tweak it a little bit, trial and error, see what works for you. If I feel like I may need to increase my carbs and lower my fats, I can do that. It's basically just numbers, y'all. But that's pretty much what I'm sticking with. I started out doing 1900 calories, but I've cut it to like about 100. So now I'm doing 1800, and that is basically the macro breakdown. That's how I got my cutting calories, and it may seem like a lot, which at first I thought it was. Even talking about it seems like it's just, I hope y'all understood what I was saying, but once you actually sit down and like work through the math, it's honestly really simple, y'all, and I actually like it because you can literally tailor it to how you want to. So you definitely don't have to eat as much protein as that. I know for me, I'm just trying to hit my protein because I do want to still build muscle and drop fat. I honestly have been struggling hitting the protein, so I'm really gonna have to up my meal prep next week, because I have to make sure I'm getting in protein, because I've been kind of missing it a little bit these past couple days. But hopefully that makes sense, y'all. This vlog was pretty short, I'm not gonna lie, it was pretty short, but I at least wanted to let y'all know how I got my calories and give y'all that rundown. But yeah, basically, long story short, for me, for cutting season right now, I'm doing 1800 calories, 185 grams of protein, 98.5 grams of carbs, roughly 100 grams of carbs here and there, and 74 grams of fat, y'all. So I hope y'all understood that, and let me know down below if y'all have any questions. Let me know down below if y'all have already customized your own macros and got your cutting calories, things like that. Again, the link to the calculator that I use is down below across the screen here, and I will see y'all in the next video.
She's a Mona Lisa. Everyone's lining up to see her. She's a Mona Lisa. Everyone's lining up to see her. There must must be something about a feature.